Sugar is like that one chaotic friend who shows up uninvited, kicks open the door of your brain, and yells, "Party time!" even though you were just trying to drink water and act like a responsible adult. At first, sugar feels incredible. Your brain lights up like a Christmas tree plugged into a nuclear reactor. Dopamine shoots up, everything feels extra fun, and suddenly even doing laundry feels like an adventure. But here's the twist. Your brain doesn't treat sugar like food. It treats sugar like a reward, the same way it reacts to gambling, video games, or the glorious moment you accidentally go viral online. Sugar hijacks your reward system, like a sugar-fueled golden retriever dragging your brain around the house. Once that dopamine hits, your brain immediately wants more. It doesn't care about nutrition, it doesn't care about blood sugar, it doesn't care that your stomach already filed a complaint. It just says, "Another cookie? Yes. Another? Yes. Another? Yes." And then comes the crash. The glorious sugar high falls apart faster than a toddler dropping an ice cream cone. Your energy plummets, your mood dips, and suddenly you regret every decision you've made in the last 10 minutes. This cycle, spike, crave, crash, repeats until your brain is basically running on sugar Wi-Fi. But here's where things get dangerous. The more sugar you eat, the less your brain responds to it. That means you need more sugar to feel the same excitement or even just to feel normal. So no, sugar isn't just a treat. To your brain, sugar is a chemical event, a full-time job, and sometimes a dramatic toxic relationship. Sweet at first, chaotic later. And today, we're breaking down exactly how sugar hijacks your brain, why it messes with your mood, your focus, your memory, and even your self-control, all in the funniest, simplest, most stick-figure-friendly way possible.
Number 1, sugar hijacks your brain's reward system. Sugar doesn't politely walk into your brain and say, "Hello, may I boost your energy?" No, sugar kicks the door open, sets off fireworks, and yells, "Dopamine, get up, we're going out." The moment sugar hits your bloodstream, your brain's reward center lights up like it just won the lottery. Dopamine, your feel-good chemical, spikes instantly. It's the same chemical your brain releases when you win money, fall in love, or see your crush typing, and then they stop typing. But here's the catch. Dopamine is addictive. So the second your brain gets that first hit, it immediately wants another, and another, and another. It's not because you're weak, it's because your brain was built to chase rewards. Back in caveman days, sugar was rare and valuable. Finding something sweet meant extra energy for survival, so your brain evolved to reward you hard for eating it. Today, you don't have to hunt for berries anymore. You just open a bag of candy and suddenly you've consumed enough sugar to power a small city. Your ancient brain isn't ready for that. Over time, the reward center becomes less sensitive. The same piece of chocolate that used to make your brain dance now barely makes it raise an eyebrow. So what does your brain do? It demands more sugar to feel the same level of pleasure. This is why you might tell yourself, "I'll just eat one cookie." And 43 seconds later, you're staring at an empty box like, "Who did this?" Your brain is literally rewiring itself to expect sugar. The more sugar you eat, the more dopamine you release. The more dopamine you release, the more you crave, the more you eat. It's a reward loop, and sugar is the one holding the remote, pressing repeat. And the worst part? Your brain begins to prioritize sugar over things that used to make you genuinely happy, like hobbies, goals, or a functioning sleep schedule. In other words, sugar doesn't just hijack your reward system, it becomes your reward system.
Number 2. Sugar messes with your mood and energy. Sugar is sneaky. One minute you feel energized like a superhero, and the next you crash harder than a phone dropped face down on concrete. This mood roller coaster isn't random. It's your blood sugar yo-yoing like it's auditioning for a circus. When you eat something sugary, your blood sugar spikes fast. Your body panics, thinking, "Whoa, too much energy." So it releases a rush of insulin to clean everything up. but your body tends to overcorrect. And suddenly, your blood sugar drops too low. The result? Your energy collapses, your brain gets cranky, and your mood plummets like a rock. This rapid rise and fall affects your emotions more than you think. You can literally go from life is beautiful, angels are singing, to don't talk to me, the world is awful, to why am I almost crying at a shampoo commercial? All because your brain is desperately trying to stabilize itself while sugar keeps flipping your internal power switch on and off. During the sugar crash, your brain becomes extra sensitive. Tiny inconveniences feel dramatic. Someone breathing too loudly, annoying. Your pillow being slightly warm, rage. Your phone updating by itself, emotional betrayal. Sugar takes your regular mood and throws it into chaos mode. This happens because sugar temporarily shuts down your orexin neurons, the brain cells responsible for keeping you awake, alert, and motivated. When these neurons go offline, your motivation crashes harder than you do after eating an entire pack of cookies at 2 a.m. You feel tired, foggy, and weirdly emotional. As your energy drops, your brain starts seeking the fastest way to feel better. And guess what it asks for? More sugar. So you grab another sweet snack, your blood sugar shoots up again, and the cycle repeats. It's not just a pattern, it's a trap your brain falls for every single time. And the longer this cycle continues, the more unstable your mood becomes. Your brain struggles to regulate stress because dopamine and blood sugar keep rising and falling too quickly. You become more irritable, more emotional, and more likely to snap at a toaster for burning your bread. Sugar isn't just messing with your body, it's hijacking your emotional settings one craving at a time. Number 3. Sugar destroys your focus and messes with your brain's memory system. Sugar doesn't just play with your mood, it also loves messing with your focus, attention, and memory, like it's playing a prank on your brain. You know how sometimes you walk into a room and immediately forget why you're there? Yeah, sugar makes that worse. When you eat a lot of sugar, your brain gets flooded with dopamine, and this surge distracts your attention system. Your brain goes from focus on the task to, oh look, energy, excitement, let's do everything at once. Except you don't do everything at once, you do nothing at once. Sugar makes your brain jumpy and unfocused, like a kid who drank 3 sodas and is now vibrating. As the dopamine high fades away, the opposite happens. Your brain becomes sluggish. Decision-making gets slower, your attention wanders, and you suddenly feel like the world's smartest goldfish. You reread the same sentence 12 times and still have no idea what it says. But here's where it gets more serious. Sugar affects the hippocampus, the part of your brain that forms new memories and helps you learn. Too much sugar causes inflammation, and the hippocampus hates inflammation. It starts functioning poorly, which means your memory gets cloudier, your learning slows down, and your ability to retain information drops. You know that feeling when you study something, feel confident, and then 10 minutes later your brain's like, I have never heard of this in my life. Yeah, sugar doesn't help. Sugar also affects the communication between neurons. Normally, brain cells talk to each other clearly, sending signals smoothly. When sugar is too high, the signals become noisy. It's like trying to hold a serious conversation in a room where someone is vacuuming, someone else is yelling, and a third person is juggling pots for no reason. On top of that, sugar spikes cortisol, your stress hormone, and high cortisol makes it even harder to focus. So now your brain is stressed, distracted, and confused all at the same time. It's a mental circus. Over time, the more sugar you consume, the more your attention span shrinks. It becomes harder to stay on task, harder to think clearly, and harder to remember what day it is. Your brain is basically screaming, I'm trying my best, while sugar keeps sabotaging it behind the scenes. So when people say sugar affects your brain, it's not just about cravings or energy crashes. It literally interferes with your ability to learn, remember,
focus, and think straight. It turns your brain from a high-speed processor into a lagging old computer begging for a system update. Number 4. Sugar hijacks your mood and turns it into a roller coaster. Sugar doesn't just mess with your energy, it plays with your emotions like it owns the remote. One minute you feel focused, cheerful, maybe even unstoppable. And the next minute you're lying on the couch questioning your entire existence. That dramatic shift isn't random. It's your brain reacting to sugar the same way it reacts to emotional chaos. When sugar hits your system, your brain floods itself with dopamine, the chemical that makes life feel sparkly and fun. And this dopamine spike is so quick and so strong that your brain instantly labels sugar as a reward. This is why you suddenly feel happier, more awake, and more motivated after eating something sweet. But that emotional boost is temporary, and your brain knows it. In fact, it expects it, and the more you do it, the more your brain demands it. Then the crash hits. Once your blood sugar drops back down, your mood drops with it. You get irritated for no reason. You snap faster. You feel overwhelmed by things that wouldn't normally bother you. Small problems suddenly feel like major catastrophes. Not because life got harder, but because sugar threw your emotional balance completely off. This cycle repeats over and over. You eat sugar, you feel great, you crash, you crave more sugar. Repeat. Your brain grows so used to this ride that it starts depending on sugar to feel normal. And the more this dependency grows, the more unstable your mood becomes. Your emotional resilience weakens. Your patience shrinks. Your stress reactions intensify. It's like your brain slowly switches from stable adult mode to dramatic soap opera character mode. And even worse, sugar increases inflammation in the brain, and when your brain is inflamed, managing stress becomes harder. You start feeling anxious for no obvious reason. Your mind jumps to negative conclusions. Your thoughts spiral faster than usual, all because your brain is overreacting to the constant sugar highs and lows. Over time, this emotional instability can snowball. Research shows that people who consume high amounts of sugar are more likely to experience long-term mood problems like anxiety and depression. Not because sugar is evil, but because it constantly disrupts the brain's systems responsible for emotional balance. In other words, sugar doesn't just affect your mood in the moment, it trains your brain to be more emotional, more reactive, and more fragile. And the longer this continues, the harder it becomes for your brain to regulate your feelings without relying on another sugar hit. So when people say sugar makes you moody, they aren't joking. Sugar can literally hijack your emotional settings and turn your day into a roller coaster, whether you bought a ticket or not. Number 5. Sugar slowly rewires your brain, and not in a cute way. Here's the part nobody wants to hear. Sugar doesn't just cause quick energy spikes or mood swings. If you keep eating it in big amounts over time, sugar literally changes the structure and behavior of your brain. Not overnight, not instantly, but slowly, quietly, and very effectively. Think of sugar like that roommate who doesn't pay rent but somehow rearranges your entire apartment while you're asleep. At first, it's small things. Your attention feels a little scattered, your focus feels a bit weaker, and your brain fog becomes a familiar visitor. You shrug it off because, hey, everyone forgets stuff sometimes, right? But internally, sugar is already moving furniture. The part of your brain responsible for learning and memory, the hippocampus, hates inflammation, and sugar creates inflammation like it's a hobby. Over time, that inflammation interferes with the brain's ability to form new memories and store information. This is why people who consume lots of sugary food often report feeling foggy, distracted, or forgetful. Next, sugar affects neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to grow, adapt, and reorganize itself. Healthy brains constantly rewire themselves in the background.
They strengthen useful pathways, delete unhelpful ones, and keep you sharp. But when sugar levels stay high for too long, this process slows down. Your brain becomes less flexible, less creative, and slower to learn new skills. On top of that, sugar impacts the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for planning, decision-making, impulse control, and basically everything that makes you feel like a functioning adult. When sugar repeatedly overstimulates your reward system, the prefrontal cortex weakens, and when that happens, resisting cravings becomes harder, making you want even more sugar. It's a loop. Sugar weakens the brain, the weakened brain wants more sugar, the sugar weakens it further. This is the same neurological pattern seen in addiction. Sugar isn't on the same level as hard drugs, of course, but the mechanism is surprisingly similar. Dopamine spikes, reward dependence, cravings, they all play a role. And after enough repetition, your brain learns to expect sugar, to demand sugar, to rely on sugar as a quick source of comfort, motivation, and relief. As this cycle continues, the long-term effects become more noticeable. People may experience more frequent brain fog, lower motivation, trouble concentrating, slower thinking, weakened memory, difficulty controlling impulses, and increased emotional reactivity. Even decision-making can shift. When your reward system is constantly being hijacked, your brain prioritizes short-term pleasure over long-term goals. Suddenly you find yourself procrastinating more, losing discipline, and feeling mentally heavy, even if everything else in life is normal. And here's the wildest part. Research shows that high-sugar diets can actually shrink parts of the brain linked to memory and emotional regulation. Not dramatically, not visually, but enough to affect how you function, how you think, and how you feel. So yes, sugar tastes great. Yes, it makes life a little sweeter. But the trade-off is that too much of it can quietly reshape the systems that control your thoughts, your emotions, and even your identity. The brain is powerful, but it's also sensitive, and sugar knows exactly where to poke. In the end, the reason to cut back on sugar isn't guilt or pressure or dieting. It's this: your brain deserves to work at full power, not in low performance mode because of something you ate.
Thanks for watching Cool Dude Explains, where comedy meets curiosity. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your favorite myth or question in the comments. Stay curious, stay cool, and I'll see you in the next video.